Okay. Hi, good morning. I'm Brad Buchanan from Brad Buchanan Hypnotherapy. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. Actually, I might just get you to switch to the next page, Tim,
Right, okay.
if that's okay.
Oh, just get this
Yeah.
ready for you. Do you want me to get this ready for you or not?
Yep. Okay. So I've been a clinical hypnotherapist now for just over 10 years. Now I spend all my time working with people with issues, mostly PTSD, and last 3 or 4 years really focusing on social anxiety, helping people work through those underlying traumas that are affecting them in the present moment with feelings, emotions, but really I work at working with beliefs. I've helped many people from all different types of issues, from anxiety, fears, phobias, addictions, weight loss, but now pretty much I spend all my time PTSD and social anxiety. That's what I get referred for. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how the mind works. And Kim, can you switch thank you. So what I've put together is a little bit of a mind map to sort of break down a little bit what I do, how the mind works. You can get a bit of an understanding how hypnosis works and how I work to help people with PTSD and social anxiety. Now, when we look at the mind, we've got the conscious mind, and that's where we are now. But below that level of awareness, we have what we call the subconscious mind. Then even further deeper down, we have what we call the unconscious mind. So we really have 3 very distinct minds. They work extremely, extremely different and have different roles. Now, when we look at the unconscious mind, that's really like our things like our automatic bodily functions, like eyes blinking, heart beating, pumping the blood around the body, things like that. Then we look at the conscious mind, and what the conscious mind really does is really 5 things. So it's our short-term memory. It's that memory, our working memory. How do we get through like an average day? Then we have what we call, which just having a look here. So we look at, it's our willpower. It's our analytical part of the mind, and that's the part of the mind that must analyse certain things, certain little issues, or if I walk through a door, should I close the door behind me? Things like that. Then we've got the rational part of the mind. Now, the rational part of the mind is very interesting. It must make rational sense of why we feel a particular way or why we behave in a particular way. Now, in my experience, I've worked 10 years with hypnotherapy, working with that emotional part of the mind, the subconscious. Now, the rational mind I've never seen it being correct once. But if it sounds okay, we can sort of go through our day with not worrying too much. We go, well, let's say someone that smokes, for example, they smoke because it makes me feel relaxed, and they accept that, and it makes them feel more calm, for example. Then we've got what we call the critical factor. Now that's really the gatekeeper between the conscious mind and the subconscious. That's the part that criticises the things that we hear, and we go, oh, do I want to accept that into my computer, which is the subconscious? And it goes, well, actually, no, that's not part of the belief or the program they have running, so therefore the critical factor, the conscious mind, will block the suggestion or that information coming in. Then when we look down, we go into the subconscious mind. Now the subconscious mind, where is the real you, me, and everyone lives. It's where our beliefs are. Our beliefs, and we really have anywhere from up to 180 to 200 different beliefs for a normal average person. It's also our emotions and feelings. So anything to do with feelings and emotions, that's all to do with that subconscious part of the mind. Then we have our habits, behaviours. So the different things that we do, those automatic habits, good, bad, that's all part of the subconscious. But really the biggest role of the subconscious mind is protection. And it must protect us against danger, real or imagined. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example with social anxiety. Say if someone comes up and they go into around a group of people, suddenly they start getting thoughts in the mind, oh, this is uncomfortable, that person's judging me. Those thoughts then create a chemical reaction in the body. So it takes the chemical reaction, that makes an emotion or feeling, and the feeling then makes a behaviour. So when we look at when that happens, that's the subconscious mind protecting that person, going, hey, this is danger. You must get out of here. So then the person either wants to run, hide, freeze, different responses. So that's how the subconscious mind protects us in ways that we wouldn't. Even in ways that, oh, actually, I want to action this or do that, but then you get that procrastination. And that's protection of the subconscious mind going, hey, there's danger around it. There's something going on there that we need to work with. So that's the subconscious mind. I want to give you a few different more examples of how I help people when we look at PTSD and social anxiety. Can you skip to the next page? Thanks, Campbell. So when we look at the time, this is like a timeline of an individual, because we're all a function of all our past experiences. So everything that's ever happened to us is in that permanent memory of the subconscious mind. Now, let's say in the present moment here, if I get a client that comes and sees me, they might go to let's say PTSD, they're in a crowded area, busy place, there's a loud noise, bang, they have that abreaction, or they're triggered. So what happens is they go into a panic attack, and they get overwhelmed and they want to leave that place. So that's one way of how PTSD works. Now, if we look at, say, someone that's been in the military, and I've worked a lot with police and military over the years, so when we look at what we got here is initial sensitizing experience. Now, this is where the belief was created, where this is busy, loud places are dangerous for a particular reason. Now, we don't know until we investigate that in the subconscious mind why that is for that person. Then what we have is the secondary sensitizing experience. So these are all the secondary sensitizing experiences that happen after that belief. So every time that happens or in that place in the environment, they get triggered, and that energy and that belief becomes stronger and compounds and builds. Then suddenly, and all this here, before we get to what we call here, the activating sensitizing experience is all below the level of the conscious awareness. So these ISE could be when we're 3 years old, we have an experience, boom, it builds up, and then time this person goes to the military at 25, goes to war, bang, that would jump into the activating sensitizing experience, would jump into the conscious awareness. So what happens is, if we go to do talk therapy, the rational mind going, this is the issue, was when I went to war. Now, if I build the feelings and the emotions up for the person in hypnosis, what I do then, I build the feelings and the emotions up. Once I've taken them into hypnosis, into trance, I've bypassed that critical factor of the conscious mind. Then we use the feelings and emotions, and what we need to find here is the belief. Now, I can take the person back to here, and I can work here where their conscious mind, the rational part of the mind, thinks the issue is. And I can work there, make this all calm, relax, get learning, understanding, release the emotion, but I can't change the belief because the belief is here. So next time the person's in an area where it's busy and there's a loud noise, boom, they're going to get triggered and they're going to go straight into the same panic attack. Now, I can take the person back to here, say the ISE, the initial sensitizing experience when they're 3, and it could be something quite minor at the time. I do the therapy there, then I can drop them back into here and it's calm and relaxed. We wipe out the whole line, because what we do is we change that belief where it started. So we're changing that belief by getting the learning, the understanding. Once we have the learning and understanding, then we release the emotion and the energy around it. And then we go and change the belief. And then we send the belief all the way along the pathway. So the only event that we really need to work with is this one here. So in a lot of ways, how I work in hypnosis, well, hypnosis is the bypass of the critical factor of the conscious mind and the establishment of selective thinking. So that's when we can we bypass that critical judgment and we can look at things uncritically in a different perspective. So we get the learning, the understanding, and we change the belief here. Next time the person goes into a place where there's loud noises in a crowded area, boom, the loud noise, and go, oh, it's just a loud noise, because the belief's been changed. It's no longer needs to protect that person in that way. So we've changed the belief in the mind, which is very, very fascinating in how it works. Now, actually, we can jump to the next page. Thank you. I think you're hypnotised.
You wanted me to jump up and you're going to hypnotise me.
So that's basically sleep.
Yes, it works.
It does. So that's how the mind works and how we work in hypnosis. We use certain techniques to take people to bypass that critical factor. And what we get when we're in hypnosis, we get a very deep level of physical relaxation, but then we get the ability to access that permanent part of the mind and the feeling part of the mind, where the beliefs are. Now, there's just a few people that I've worked with over many years. The different issues people have come and seen me for, and really what I do is I'm a locator. My goal when I work in this session, I'm like a dog after a bone, I'm finding that ISE. And I'm going to do whatever I can to find where that belief started. Once I find that, then I can change that. We're changing the person's life, because we're changing that belief so they don't have to experience. It's not even a thought in their mind. People come back after a week, I start talking about an issue, they go, oh, I haven't had much change. I said, oh, okay. I said, oh, how'd you go when you sat in with your boss? He goes, oh, yeah, I've done that a few times this week. I said, oh, did you realise last week that's what we worked with? And they're like, oh, that's right. because they're completely moved away from it, which is fascinating how the mind works, the focus of the mind. So these are all people that I've worked with all around PTSD, which is finding the underlying issue and the underlying cause. So, for example, a lovely lady I worked with, she's having nightmares, night terrors. Now, this lady is in her 60s, and she's been having these for probably around 30, 40 years. And every time she gets in a certain environment, she'd panic, and it was stopping her from doing a lot of things in life. And the ISE was back when she was 2 years old from an event that she hadn't experienced. It wasn't even that powerful an event, but that's what caused it. And over time, with all the secondary sensitizing experiences, it just built and compound, and then she's adapted her life to fit around that belief. So anyway, any questions? Yeah.
So you talked about the ISE being like back when people were 2 or 3, and we don't have our language formed yet. So do we need to have, like, is there a connection between language and the experience?
Not at all. You talk in different language. You talk very simple when you go back, because the vocabulary is very simple when you go back there. You can be talking to a 4 or 5-year-old. So that's the part that's coming out and dealing with that particular issue is a childhood state most of the time, a lot of the time. Not always, but a lot of the time. So you've got to change your language. I've worked and I've asked questions and they go, oh, I don't understand you, because I haven't got the vocabulary yet. But it's interesting, I can talk to people where the issue was when they were 6 months old and they can't talk, can't speak, but they still have to learn the understanding, and when they develop how to talk and communicate, then they can communicate about what they're experiencing there at that time. And when we regress in there, it's not like we're going back to, like when you think of a memory, it's more going back where you can actually, you're like that 3-year-old, you can see, you can hear, and you can feel. It's like you're experiencing that event again. Well, it really depends. When I work, if I'm working PTSD, usually about 3 or 4 sessions. Social anxiety, I do in 3. A panic, just a one-off panic attack, what someone's experiencing, I'm resolving in a session.
It's not a lot, is it? I thought it'd be continual.
No. Because once we bypass that critical factor and we go back to the belief and we change that, then we don't actually have to experience that again. But then there can be other adjacent beliefs that are sat there and like are worked around that other part to protect. So then we've got to look at habit and different things of having the issue, or other issues that have been created because of, like for example, someone with social anxiety. They might have that panic when they go into an overwhelming experience like a group of people, but suddenly there we work with that in the first session, and then the next session we're working around all different things, what they've missed out, the acceptance of going, oh, I missed 30 years of my life because I had this issue. So then we've got to work with that as well, and then we just build and compound the new belief of confidence and being calm and relaxed, and we do that by suggestion. And once we're in that subconscious mind, we're highly suggestible because we've got no critical factor blocking those suggestions.
Anita, you might remember this person. Maybe you referred me some business up at Ormo.